Hello, and welcome to Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. I'm Daniel Pineda. We have a great program today. We have our news stories, community bulletin board, and 55 plus news. But first, a social media announcement. You can watch the Arlington Weekly News on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News and the number 1. Also, facebook.com and also on the radio, WERA 96.7 FM. And now on to our first news story for today. As of Sunday evening, May 9th, reports show the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Arlington had reached 15,226. Regular viewers and listeners will note the continuing increase in our reported case numbers. Arlingtonians are still getting sick, 105 people in the last 7 days. Arlington County announced they will reopen numerous park amenities effective Friday, June 5th. The announcement stipulated that attendees must continue to practice social distancing and follow the posted guidelines. Reopen amenities will include athletic fields with restrictions, batting cages, bocce courts, disc golf course, pickleball courts, picnic shelters with restrictions, skate park, tennis courts, tracks. Parks and Recreation Director Jane Rudolph stated, "We are cautiously opening up some of our park amenities as we move through this unprecedented time. We're pleased to be able to give our community more opportunities to be active in our parks. We ask that people continue to stay safe and practice social distancing, which will help us stop the spread and stay open." Here at Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News, we would note that based on our own observations, many Arlingtonians have been treating some of these amenities as if they were already open, with little regard for virus mitigation. On Thursday, May 6th, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam said that the state of Virginia could lift most of its COVID-19 pandemic restrictions by mid-June. These restrictions were put in place about 14 months earlier to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus. Northam said the current plan is for the state to do away with social distancing requirements and restrictions on gathering sizes on June 15th. However, this was conditional on coronavirus cases continuing to drop and the pace of vaccinations remaining steady. We would question the need to make such an announcement more than a month in advance, when it acknowledges that circumstances can change. And now on to our next news story for today. The Arlington County Democratic Committee is gearing up to provide rides to the polls for those in need of them for the June 8th primary. The initiative traditionally aims to support seniors who don't drive and may have mobility issues, but is open to any Arlington voter. Democrats in June will formally nominate statewide candidates locally. The party will decide its nominees in the 45th and 49th House of Delegates districts. Anyone wishing to volunteer to provide transportation to those needing rides to the polls can email rides@arlingtondemocrats.org. Arlington's Republicans have already participated in their own nominating convention on May 8th. The results of both primaries will be announced at a future date. And now on to our last news story for today. Arlington County has announced the selection of Anthony Fusarelli Jr. to be the county's new planning director after a nationwide search. County Manager Mark Schwartz said, "As Arlington continues to grow, we will face change. We'll need visionary, effective planning to help guide our priorities in areas such as equity, affordability, sustainability, resiliency, and community engagement. Mr. Fucciarelli's experience with the county's notable planning history and his dedication to partnering with the community on long-term plans make him an excellent fit for this critical position. In case anyone was wondering, the previous planning director was Robert J. Duffy, AICP, who held the post beginning in 2012. Well, that does it for the news. Now on to our CBB stories for today.
Hi, and welcome to CBB. We'll start off with an event for teens aged 12 to 17. It's called Paper-Making Basics. It's a chance to join other teens to learn how to create your own personalized paper from recycled materials. This paper can be used for letters, notes, drawings, and more. You'll take a short walk to gather materials from the park, then incorporate those materials into your projects. Children and adults need to register because children must be accompanied by a registered adult. For information, call 703-228-3403. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. The activity number is 632-831-A. That's on Thursday, May 20th from 4:30 to 6 o'clock p.m. at Gulf Branch Nature Center and Park, 3608 North Military Road. Our next event is called Cacophonous Cicadas Campfire. I guess this is based on the idea that the cicadas will finally come out and start chirping. The whole family is invited to join up at the Gulf Branch Fire Ring for lots of old-fashioned fun. This engaging program will be filled with entertaining activities that may include stories, special animal guests, games, songs, and, of course, s'mores. You'll need to register children and adults because children must be accompanied by a registered adult. For information, call 703-228-3403. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. This time the activity number is 632-851-D. That's on Friday, May 21st from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. at Gulf Branch Nature Center and Park, 3608 North Military Road. Next up, we have something unusual. It's called the Banshee of Barcroft. Here's the idea. A mysterious creature is roaming the forests of Barcroft. We need your help to locate a missing researcher and prove the existence of the Banshee of Barcroft before it's too late. We need your best and brightest group of 2 to 7 sleuths, ages 11 and older. Can you crack the case and discover the Banshee's true identity? Groups will have 60 minutes to find all the evidence of the Banshee. At the close, a reporter will interview you for all the harrowing details, if you solve the mystery in time. Register all participants, family, friends, or other cryptozoological enthusiasts. Kids ages 11 to 17 must be accompanied by a registered adult. Only 7 spaces are available per session, so please register early. For information, call 703-228-6535. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. The other unusual thing is that this is a recurring event. The first session is on Sunday, May 23rd from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. using activity number 632951-GG. The second session is on Sunday, May 23rd from 12:15 to 1:15 p.m. using activity number 632951-HH. The third session is on Sunday, May 23rd from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. using activity number 951-II. And the fourth and final session is on Sunday, May 23rd from 3:45 to 4:45 p.m. using activity number 632951-JJ. It's all happening at Long Branch Nature Center at Glen Carlin Park, 625 South Carlin Springs Road. Finally, in CBB, here's an event for teens. Once again, it's time to get out and ride. Teens from the ages of 11 through 17 are invited to come take a bike ride with the members of the Office for Teens. Register online or call 703-228-4747. The activity number is 782-118-20. That's on Tuesday, May 25th from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. at Bon Air Park, 850 North Lexington Street. Now it's time for 55 Plus News.
Howdy, and welcome to 55 Plus News. John Lennon was once misquoted as joking that Ringo Starr was not only not the best drummer in the world, he wasn't even the best drummer in the Beatles. This story has since been debunked as coming from a comedy sketch that was broadcast the year after Lennon's death. However, even if Ringo Starr wasn't your favorite Beatle, you may find that playing the drums in a drumming circle is your new favorite activity. It gives an opportunity for self-expression and to share in an engaging group experience. Other benefits include increase in mental concentration, reducing stress, and improving fine motor skills. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. The activity number is 913-702-10. That's on Thursday, May 20th from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. at Highview Park, 1945 North Dinwiddie Street. You gotta be 55 or older, and 55 plus membership is required. Now this next event is called All About Air Fryers. Now I gotta admit that the title threw me at first. I mean, I've eaten fried chicken, fried fish, and fried potatoes. I've even heard of people using a deep fat fryer on things like pickles, butter, and Oreo cookies. So when I heard about air fryers, it's not that they're frying plain air after all. It's just a new appliance used for frying actual food with air. It turns out you can indulge your craving for fried food and still follow a healthy diet with this new kitchen appliance. Center Director and Air Fryer Aficionado Sydney Reed will explain the various uses and recipes for this tool. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. The activity number is 913-501-6, and it's coming up on Friday, May 21st from 11 o'clock a.m. to 12 noon. You got to be 55 or older, and 55 plus membership is required. Next up, this is about African American art. Now, in 1944, only 9 years after opening its doors, the Virginia Museum of Fine Art acquired its first work by an African American artist. Since then, the museum has been steadfast in building a collection that reflects the African American experience and artistic expression. Here's a chance to expand your knowledge of African American art and artists with a virtual visit. You register online or call 703-228-4747. The activity number is 902-105-05. That's on Friday, May 21st from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. You gotta be 55 and up, and 55 plus membership is required. Finally, in 55 plus news, we have an event about the air war in Korea. From the start of the Korean War on June 25, 1950, until the armistice on July 27, 1953, the skies over the Korean peninsula were filled with air-to-air combat, reconnaissance, close air support, strategic bombing, and the first major use of helicopters. Scott Willey, the senior docent of the National Air and Space Museum, Stephen F. Udvar Hazy Center, will discuss this intense air war using museum artifacts as the backdrop for his talk. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. The activity number is 913-400-14, and it's coming up on Wednesday, May 26th from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. You gotta be 55 or older, and 55 plus membership is required. Anyway, that's all I got for 55 plus news.
The Arlington County Board conducted another COVID work session on May 4th. At less than 38 minutes, it was the shortest of these events so far. The news was encouraging overall, although 2 Arlingtonians still died during the previous week. County Manager Mark Schwartz stated that the county was entering a new phase of their COVID response. He encouraged the public to contribute new ideas. Dr. Ruben Varghese showed a slide showing the entire pandemic curve through May 1st. He noted that cases are currently low, although still present. He also expressed concern about some anecdotal reporting that some residents were deciding to avoid testing in order to circumvent CDC recommendations. The second slide showed the number of Arlington residents aged 16 and above who had been vaccinated as of May 1st. 37.2% were shown as being fully vaccinated, while an additional 20.5% were considered to be partially vaccinated. The total was reported as 57.7% of the group having received at least one dose of COVID vaccine. This was shown as being very close to the 60% initial vax target. The source or significance of this target was not made clear. In addition, the fully vaccinated group was based on the number of people who had merely received either the single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine or both doses of the Pfizer vaccine, but had not necessarily passed the 2-week period required for full efficacy. We note this for the purpose of accurate reporting. The third slide showed a breakdown of the vaccinations by ethnicity. It was a pie chart showing a 52.4% gray area, referring to people whose ethnicity was either missing or unknown. This slide showed the data from the Virginia Department of Health. A fourth slide showed the ethnicity breakdown again, but this time based on vaccinations that took place at Arlington County Public Health Department vaccine clinics. That pie chart showed only 6.8% of the group in gray for unknown or missing ethnicity. We would observe that the primary function of this slide seems to have been little more than to show how careful those facilities are about obtaining ethnicity data. It does show that within that relatively small group, non-Hispanic white people constituted 59.6% of those vaccinated, but it did not indicate whether or not this percentage was greater or less than that of the general population. Dr. Varghese cited what he called progress in reaching the Hispanic population, but did not provide any actual data. A fifth slide showed a map of the part of Arlington in which COVID vaccine could be obtained. There was only one vaccination site north of Lee Highway. The sites were represented by some 49 numbered dots, some blue and some gray. The difference between the blue and gray dots was not explained. A sixth slide presented a list of major public vaccine providers in Arlington. They were Arlington Public Health Clinics, CVS, Harris Teeter, Giant Food, Safeway, Walgreens, Preston's, and Jewel Wellness. The reason for the non-alphabetical listing was not provided. The subject shifted to strategies to eliminate real and perceived barriers to vaccination within Arlington. Dr. Aaron Miller provided a summary. Operating hours will be adjusted based on community feedback. Arlingtonians will be offered more choices in appointment times. Scheduling was also arranged via some traveling teams who visited farmers markets and other public venues. County Board member Takis Karantonis raised a question about vaccination certification. Dr. Varghese said that the Commonwealth of Virginia seems unlikely to adopt such a policy. County Board member Christian Dorsey asked about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine popularity following the recent pause. The caution resulting from the pause seems to be largely offset by the convenience of the single-shot requirement. Dr. Aaron Miller noted that the reported 8% failure of first-dose recipients to complete their vaccination would normally be considered an excellent response in most other vaccine situations. Dr. Varghese also noted that even a partial vaccination was far better than none at all. He felt that the main effort would be best applied toward those lacking any vaccination. A new possibility was raised for using the Arlington County public school system to help with vaccinations, especially in light of the possible inclusion of children between the ages of 12 and 16. There was also some discussion of inconsistent data availability across state lines for Arlingtonians who work outside of Virginia. The possibility of cash or coupon incentives for vaccination was raised. County Manager Mark Schwartz said he was considering the pros and cons of vaccination incentives. Libby Garvey asked about vaccinating complete families in addition to just children at the schools. Dr. Varghese noted the timing considerations and the fact that only Pfizer is approved for distribution to children. Dr. Varghese still recommended that masks are a good idea. He specified that 95% protection is still 5% vulnerability, so that no one can be assured of absolute immunity. However, Dr. Varghese also admitted that he himself does not always wear a mask when he's out of doors. On the other hand, he noted that masks can help prevent other diseases in addition to COVID. County Board member Matt DeFerrante closed the meeting shortly before 3:42 p.m., and the group then went into closed session.
We were hoping to provide an update to the last-minute changes to the Arlington County budget, especially those concerning Arlington Independent Media. However, the Arlington County government website still shows only the details for the proposed budget. The last listed update is still dated April 20th, 2021. Other late recommendations did provide for protections against evictions and hunger, business community support, a small business revolving loan fund, employee compensation, developmental disabilities, affordable housing, arts resiliency grants, conservation, restorative justice, broadband, stormwater, virtual meetings, voting, and other concerns. And that concludes this week's show. We will be back next week with more news from Arlington. Meanwhile, be careful, be safe, and be well.
This is the one where we all run into the sunshine. This is the one where we all race up to the sky. This is the one where we finally break free. This is the one where we all fly into the rainbow. This is the one where we all jump over the moon. This is the one where we finally learn to see. We meant to do it yesterday. That's what we said. But yesterday is gone and we're still not dead. So this is the one where we all come up with the answer. This is the one where we all rejoin the bath. This is the one where we stop and check the math. We meant to do it late last week at 3 o'clock. But there's no time like the present. It's a day we can't knock on wood. This is the one where we look both ways before crossing. This is the